Picture this. Sarah Jenkins, slumped in seat 14C on a red-eye flight from Chicago to London, her worn hoodie pulled low, her dark hair spilling out, catching the dim cabin light. She's got scuffed sneakers, faded jeans, a beat-up backpack at her feet looking like she rolled out of bed and onto the plane without a second thought. Around her, the cabin's alive with the hum of first-class Egos suits with shiny watches, women in designer scarves, all sipping overpriced wine, their whispers sharp as knives. Who let her on this flight? A woman in a sleek blazer hisses, her diamond earrings glinting as she leans toward a guy with a Rolex, his smirk cutting through the air. Bet she's some broke drifter, couch surfing her way through life. He replies, loud enough for the rows around to hear. Sarah doesn't move, her breathing slow, her eyes closed, but her fingers twitch, curling into her sleeve like she's holding something back. The plane's high over the Atlantic, the kind of dark where the world feels like it's holding its breath. A lady in a silk dress, her nails clicking on her armrest, leans over to her friend, voice dripping with pity. Probably got a pity ticket, some charity case. Her friend, a guy in a tailored jacket, chuckles. She's never seen a lounge like this, that's for sure. The laughter spreads, soft but mean, like a wave rolling through the cabin. A young influencer in a cashmere coat, scrolling her phone, pipes up, her hair? Does she even own a comb? More chuckles, more glances at Sarah's frayed backpack. She's a ghost to them, a nobody who doesn't belong in their polished world. But Sarah's used to this. Raised in a family with old money, the kind that doesn't flaunt, she learned early to let her actions do the talking. Her mom, a quiet philanthropist, taught her to stand tall, to move with purpose, to never beg for respect. People see her plain clothes, her silence, and they assume she's less poor, unimportant, out of place. And tonight, they're not just thinking it, they're saying it, loud and proud, like her silence is an invitation to tear her down. The plane hums along, the cabin lights dim, and Sarah's out cold, exhausted from a late night, maybe a long shift, maybe something heavier. The whispers don't stop. A guy in a cheap suit, his tie loose, nudges his buddy. Bet she's crashing in a hostel when we land. His buddy, a woman with glossy red nails, smirks. Or a ditch, with those shoes. A man too rose up, his Rolex catching the light. Joins in. Last-minute discount ticket. No doubt look at her, sleeping like she's got nowhere to be. Sarah's hands slide to her lap, fingers tightening just a bit, but she doesn't stir. Then Bamthy cabin lights flicker, a low rumble shakes the floor, glasses clink in first class. The plane dips, and the chatter dies. Sarah's eyes crack open, just a sliver, her body still but awake. The intercom buzzes, and the captain's voice cuts through, tight, almost panicked. Folks, this is your captain. Any pilots on board? We need you now. The cabin freezes, then erupts in murmurs. Nobody moves. Nobody stands. A businessman in a pinstripe suit slams his laptop shut, his face red. This is insane. They can't just let anyone up there. The influencer in the cashmere coat leans forward, her voice sharp. She's probably some wannabe, thinking she's in a movie. Sarah unbuckles her seatbelt, the click loud in the tense air, and stands, her hoodie slipping back, her face calm, unyielding. The businessman points, his voice booming. Sit down, Lady Yuri, not fooling anyone. Sarah's eyes flick to him, just for a second, and something in her gaze makes him falter, his fingers still pointing, his confidence cracking. A woman in a velvet scarf grabs the flight attendant's arm, her voice trembling. You're not letting her up there, are you? She'll get us all killed. The attendant, young, clutching a clipboard, stammers. Ma'am, please, we need actual pilots. Sarah takes a step into the aisle, her sneakers silent, her eyes locked on the cockpit door. The guy with the Rolex leans out, his face twisted. This is a cockpit, not a soup kitchen. Stay out of it. A young mom, clutching her kid, whispers. She looks like she's here to clean the plane, not fly it. The cabin pulses with scorn, but Sarah keeps moving, her hand brushing her backpack, grounding herself. The cockpit door cracks open, and the co-pilot, pale, sweating, scans the cabin, his eyes desperate. They land on Sarah, and something shifts, maybe instinct, maybe a flicker of recognition. She gives a small nod, so subtle it's almost invisible. Let her through, he says, his voice rough. The cabin gasps, heads turning. The guy in the cheap suit stands, blocking her path. You serious? Her? She's nobody. Sarah looks at him, her voice low, steady. Step aside. He blinks, his bravado crumbling, and sinks back into his seat. Inside the cockpit, the air's thick, the captain slumped, gray-faced, hands shaking on the controls. The co-pilot shuts the door, his voice barely a whisper. Who are you? Sarah slides into the captain's chair, her hands brushing the yoke, the throttle, like she's coming home. Call sign, Shadowhawk 7, she says, and the co-pilot freezes. That name-ite's a whisper in military circles, a pilot who flew missions that don't exist on paper, who walked away after one went wrong, carrying the weight in silence. Her hands move fast, flipping switches, silencing alarms, her eyes locked on the instruments. The plane shudders, but Sarah's calm, her fingers dancing like she's done this 1,000 times. A memory hits her at 23, strapped into a fighter jet, the night sky a blur, her commander's voice crackling. Shadowhawk 7, engage. She'd been steady then, too, until the mission ended in flames. Not her fault, but heavy all the same. Back in the cabin, the woman in the velvet scarf stands, her voice shaking. This is madness going to crash us. The guy in the pinstripe suit mutters, probably failed flight school, faking it now. The plane steadies, the alarms quiet, and Sarah leans back, her hoodie bunched at her waist, her hair falling over one shoulder. The co-pilot watches, his face a mix of relief and disbelief. We're stable, he says, almost to himself. Sarah nods. Get the captain to medical when we land. She walks back to 14C, the cabin staring, their whispers now a mix of doubt and fear. The influencer with the red nails, still recording, sneers. What? You're a hero now. The guy with the Rolex mutters, she got lucky, that's all. Sarah slides into her seat, pulls her hood up, leans against the window, her face unreadable. At the gate, 3 men in military uniforms wait, their postures rigid. As Sarah steps into the aisle, one salutes sharply. Welcome back, Shadowhawk 7. The cabin goes silent, mouths open, hands frozen on bags. The influencer's phone slips from her hand. The guy in the cheap suit stares, pale. Sarah nods once, calm, and walks past, her sneakers silent. In the terminal, the truth catches up. The guy with the Rolex gets a call as deals off. His firm doesn't tolerate disrespect. The influencer's video, mocking Sarah, backfires. Comments tear her apart. Her followers vanish. The woman in the velvet scarf's campaign deal tanks, her unprofessional conduct cited. Sarah doesn't see it. She slides into a black SUV, her backpack at her feet, a small photo slipping out her in a flight suit, eyes bright, call sign stitched on her chest. She doesn't pick it up. She doesn't need to. Her silence said it all. This story, it's not just Sarah's. It's for anyone who's been judged, dismissed, laughed at. People see what they want, but the truth? It always finds a way. Where do you stand on this? Ever been underestimated like Sarah, or caught yourself judging too quick? Drop a comment. Share your story. Let's talk about what's real, what's fair, and what needs to change.